No, I have actually considered this as
Yeah. But if you want to hear things, you guys can always arm wrestle. How's everything going?
Yeah, no, I was like, look at my calendar. I was like, oh, I got I'll probably see you.
Can I have your attention for a second? We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Okay, we're just waiting a little bit longer because of the snow to let people get in. I'm sure it took a little longer to get here this afternoon than normal. So about 2 minutes. Thanks, Russell. Thanks, Russell.
It's more work than
Hi to the ZeekBeek. Wave everybody. Sound check, really? That's what you say. You say sound check. Huh?
there's certain things.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. A, B, C. You can do all three.
I like it. So I have that. Issues is.
All right. Clear with that. We'll probably try to bring it behind so that way I don't.
Okay, we're gonna get started here.
You're perfect.
First of all, my name is Russell Schindler, and you're at the TC New Tech meeting. In case you're wondering where you're at, if everyone could please silence their phones, and I'm just reminding myself also. So put your phones on silent, and we'll be good. And then if you have to use the restrooms are located right where you came in. Men's on the left, and the women's are on the right. So the restrooms are right back there. The format at TC New Tech is we have 5 presenters tonight. Each presenter gets 5 minutes to present their technology or topic, and then there's a 5-minute question and answer. So hold your questions until the second section, and then in between speakers, while we're changing microphones and everything, we'll make some announcements. If you have an announcement you want to make, feel free to raise your hand at that time and make your announcement. Keep it brief, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. And then we're also happy to announce that ZeekBeek, who's one of the presenters tonight, is also the sponsor of the social hour after the meeting. So thank you. It'll be held right out here. You probably walk right by the bar coming in. So they're a sponsor tonight, and also the other sponsors are the Traverse City Chamber of Commerce, which we are happy that they're involved because they do a lot of promotional stuff for us. So and you can see Sheila, she probably greeted you as you came in. Traverse Legal is also a sponsor. They do some work for us, so we're very happy about that. If you need any intellectual property work, they can help you with that. Access Point is a human resources company. Lisa is the representative from there. So you met her as you came in. She's the one who gave you your drink ticket. So she's your friend. Yep. Grand Traverse Business Design Group. Joey and Ryan. Where's Ryan? Right there. Those guys actually do the website and the videoing. Echo is a new sponsor. Thank you. This is the facility right here. Make sure you tell Maddie how much you love the facility and you want to keep you here for the rest of the year. So she gets a really good rate. And then Patriot Voice, which is Randy right back here. Randy has he's a DJ on radio talk show. And then there's my company, is also a sponsor, and really none of you guys have anything that we do for you. So I'm just here to.
Wouldn't charge us for it.
Yeah, right. So, unless you have environmental problems, hopefully you don't.
Yeah.
So with all that said, the first presenter tonight is Scott and Mike from TrueJob.
We have a timer. I want to. Oh, perfect.
Right here. Yeah, sorry.
So my name's Scott Gosey, and I'm here today with my co-founder, Michael Kling, and we're here to present TrueJob. So if you've viewed a job website in the past 15 years, you've probably used something that looked kind of like this. And these job sites ask you 2 questions. What's your job title, and where do you want to work? But your job title can change a lot over your life. You can have as many as 12 by age 40. And where you want to work differs based on a lot of different factors. You might work in Wyoming if you got paid a lot more. And you might have some cities that you just don't want to work at all at. And none of these sites take that into account. But something that's really similar to what we built is Pandora. And Pandora, you don't search for songs. It's not Spotify. You put in an artist, you put in a song, and it starts playing songs that might be a good fit for you. And you thumbs up, you thumbs down, and over time, you start to understand exactly what songs you really like. And Pandora does too. And we did the same thing for jobs. So now you can sign up on TrueJob, import your profile, and start getting jobs that match you. And if they don't, you can favorite or block almost anything about them. So that way you're getting the best job matches to you rather than searching for all these different permutations of job titles and locations. So rather than tell you more, we wanted to kind of give you a demo of what we can do today. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mike.
All right, thanks, Scott. So what I'm going to demo first is what you would see on TrueJob as a job seeker. So we can see here, we've got a list of jobs, and we have some different job titles, but like Scott said, we don't think you should be kind of stuck with just one job title necessarily. So you can kind of, find job titles that you like and favorite them. Maybe you're interested in Android development and iOS development, so you could favorite both of those. And now when you look for new matches, TrueJob's going to learn about that and find things related to both. Same for companies. Like maybe you're not interested in a particular company anymore. You could block that. And for cities as well. So maybe you're not interested in Ann Arbor, but you are interested in Traverse City, so you could favorite that, and TrueJob's going to take that into account as well. So if we refresh now, you're going to see a whole new set of jobs. So now we have some Detroit jobs, and we've got a couple of Traverse City jobs that we've stuck in here. If we drill into this Traverse City New Tech Presenter position, so
It doesn't pay very well.
So you can even do this in the job description itself. So, if you click on words in here, you can kind of build a tag. Maybe, Scott Gosi, you don't want to see any more jobs that have to do with Scott, so you could block that, and TrueJob will learn that as well. So we think this is great, kind of a way for job seekers to, add tags and find better matches. But how does this flow over to the employers? So if we switch to our employer view, we set up a simple profile just for Traverse City New Tech, and we've got a couple of job postings on here. The Traverse City New Tech Presenter position you see here is the same one that we had on the job seeker set. When we kind of drill into that, we have some different some analytics here. So one thing we can tell you is how long people are viewing your job posting, how much time they're spending on it. That's something that you might see on other job websites, but the other thing that we can show you that we think is different is we can show you this feedback about things that people are favoriting or blocking about your job. And when employers get that, they're going to be able to tell what kinds of things they might want to emphasize or talk about more or less in their job. So there's a lot of other stuff. I'll just mention it briefly, but there's other feedback that we can give to employers about their job posting, even without job seekers interacting with it. So we can compare their job posting to our database and give them some information about how their job description compares to other job descriptions with the same job title, for example. So, and there's other stuff like we have some stuff about interviewing and some pay data. Maybe I'll try to refresh this. It works, but we don't have time to talk about all that. So that's just kind of the beginning.
So we could really only cover a couple features here, but the site is actually chock full of a lot of things to do. What we're really here today for is because we want job seekers to sign up to the site. So if you've tried another job website before, and maybe you're a little bit disillusioned or delusioned, and you want to try a new job website, try us out, because we really think we can do things differently. We've built all these tools that will help you out. And for employers, we're really hoping that if you're a startup here in the Traverse City area and you're having some trouble hiring, you reach out to us and we'll give you the data that helps you hire effectively and get those candidates in. So that's all we have. We have some info about ourselves, but questions and comments. So,
Any questions?
do we have a mobile skin? Well, our site is actually responsive down to mobile. So if you're on your iPhone, it looks good no matter what size you're at. The same layout can be used on both sides, but then when you're using it on the desktop, it looks just good as well. So,
How do you make money?
Okay. All right, I'll take that. So right now, this is all free for job seekers. We have kind of a monthly fee that you'd pay $30 a month for employers, and it's kind of in our beta mode. We don't charge extra if you post more jobs, but our focus, our initial focus was we wanted this to be the best experience for job seekers as possible. So that's kind of why we wanted to make it free for them and focus on building that user base as our first step.
Does your model call for subscription down the road? Is that what you're going to kind of base it on then?
for job seekers, I think it's always going to be free, because when you're unemployed or trying to find a new job, it's so frustrating to feel like now I got to pay when I can't pay. And so for job seekers, we hope it's always going to be free. We might have some premium perks similar to like LinkedIn Premium, where like you pay an extra subscription fee for more analytics, because there's a whole other side that we couldn't show you about how job seekers can get back feedback on their resumes and improve that as well. So there's all these things that we can do. We're just focusing right now on a subscription fee course. So.
Yeah, well, we're from Ann Arbor, so that's where we're starting, and we want to focus on getting a really good set of Michigan jobs first, and having kind of good coverage of Michigan jobs and startup jobs. So
You're looking at it.
it's just us.
This is the team size.
2 questions. You're already in business?
Yes, we're incorporated in Delaware and foreign qualified in Michigan.
Okay. And how are you marketing this?
Well, events kind of like this. So we're starting to get our marketing kind of going. We've been building this for a long time, and we really think this is valuable. But we're programmers. We know some things about business, but we struggle sometimes to market. And so we're hoping people spread the word, and it starts here. But we'd always like to get more tips for spreading the word as well. So.
How many job seekers do you have in your
So we had it in open beta for a while, and we got to the top of Reddit and Hacker News, and so we got a couple thousand job seekers and a lot of jobs. But we found that like the experience ended up not being as great, so we really tried to take down a lot of the jobs we felt like really decreased the quality and focus on Michigan primarily, Michigan startups, because if we bring more people to Michigan, that's going to be huge. So right now our jobs are actually a lot less than we had before, but they're a lot better. So we're probably talking in the ranges of like thousands and not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
So.
But more focused rather than trying to cover everything.
There's a lot of methodologies we're incorporating. No one, like we try to be as lean as possible. We bootstrap as much as we can, but we don't follow any necessarily one design principle, I guess, with the startup. So.
Have you guys hooked up with Michigan Works?
We've been talking to a few people, including Spark, but we want to reach out to more employers because we need a lot more of those connections. So Michigan Works first. Michigan first and jobs first. We haven't reached out to them yet. So.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That ECU Tech presenter job, I would encourage you all to apply for it. You need very little qualifications, but the pay is not so good. So I want to thank our sponsors again. This is where we go on a little bit more dialogue. The Chamber, again, they've been very valuable in helping us get the word out. We're hoping that they continue to do that and more for us as we grow and become more of a force in Traverse City. And then Traverse Legal too, they're actually doing some work for us to help on the legal end of things. Unfortunately, there's a lot of that whenever you try and do something like this. So we appreciate what they're doing there. And they also do intellectual property, patent law and trademark law. So I would encourage you to see them. And Michael Naughton here too is also, he's an attorney and he's helping us out a lot too. So you don't have a logo, we'll throw it up on the screen.
I got a logo. I'll get the logo.
So started a group, Traverse City, if you may have heard their network throughout Traverse City Light and Power is considering doing a fiber optic network. And they or have agreed to meet with us on the 8th at 5 o'clock at the Arrow Park Drive campus for NMC. It's room 101 in the Paulson building. So if you want to get involved in like kind of learning about what fiber optic might mean to Traverse City and what it might take to make it happen, I would encourage you to go to that meeting, 5 o'clock, Monday the 8th at the Arrow Park NMC campus.
Parsons School and Building.
Pardon me?
Parsons School and Building.
There you go. Exactly. Did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. It's on the website, so.
It's also known as the MTech Building,
Okay,
2600 Arrow Park Drive.
perfect. You know more about it than I do.
I work there.
Okay. But, you know, it's an important, it could mean, you know, the future. Brighter future for Traverse City if we had fiber optics. So I encourage you
colors. We are very much lean startup. Making our game all our funds for pre-order. We collect 20 game because they stack. Now there's basically I'm trying to match the events to venues. For matching the perfect fade. Enjoy card games and would like to learn a new one. Again, I had you all raise your hands. It's pretty consistent that a majority of all the audience we poll in our demographic love card games. So competition, you know what? I own all these games and I love them, and that's okay. We don't have to be the best card game out there. We just want to be a great card game that's another option for users. So card games such as Uno, Coup, Dominion, Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, and Munchkin are great games, and we're actually partnering with one of those games to release our product. That's a secret for later. So what does your game look like? I already showed you one card. I'll show you some more. So the back will either be colored or black and white. And again, you have the front. Here's the art exhibit with the critics that says, I could do that. And you match that with the first grader Modern Arts Center. So it has the feature of Go Fish where people as young as 9 years old can play it, but it still has strategic elements so people that are 30, 40 can actually enjoy playing it as well. Do nerds love value? Yes, nerds love value. We don't want to pay 20 bucks and get 10 cards. That would suck. Okay, so in our game, there are over 100 cards that come in initial pack, and we have expansions. We will continue to work with our early adopters. We've been playtesting with our fans since day one. Oh, by the way, our company's 2 weeks old. So this is our first non-startup weekend event. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for letting us present. We've had about 30 pre-orders so far. We've been alive 2 weeks. That's pretty good. And we're looking for pre-orders before we begin our Kickstarter campaign. We'll skip past this because it's just production stuff. It's sort of boring. But basically, we plan to do 300 pre-orders, Kickstarter sales, and then city by city roll out to our retail market. Okay. So thanks again for letting me present. I look forward to meeting so many of you here because people that like games just are very interesting. And so thank you for your questions and for your feedback. And with your help and feedback, we hope to become the next Steve Jackson, who made Munchkin. For those of you who know Munchkin, the card game, it's a good game, of the gaming world. So thank you very much. All right, questions. Wow.
I got a question.
Okay, go for it.
So you basically invented this game,
Yes.
from what I understand, just like 2 weeks ago, right?
I was over Christmas. I was like, it'd be cool to make a card game. And then I attended Startup Weekend, West Michigan Startup Weekend, and we made the card game and printed it.
And you finished pretty high in the, how many people were in the startup competition?
So there were 17 groups that were formed. There were 14 groups that were made, and I actually won the most valuable participant at Startup Weekend.
And where did you finish in the competition?
We did not finish in the top 3.
Okay.
But they liked us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see why.
We were likable. I see a hand in the back.
You have a copy of the game, so some of the cards-
Oh yes, oh yes. We brought an older copy of the game to demo test and play test. I would, when we're drinking and game playing go great together. Please play the game today. Yes.
So I'm not sure if you're able to tell us, but who is it that you're partnering with?
So Cards Against Humanity has a startup organization called Blackbox.cool, and they partner with independent developers. So they actually will be distributing our game and helping to sell our game. So it's connected to that company. The creators of that company helped make this startup, and they're helping us.
Where are you based out of?
We're based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. More questions? Yes.
Where's your target customer segment?
So our target, we want to make it a casual enough game that people don't look at it and like shudder because there's like 13 pages of rules. So it's aimed at, of course, the nerd generation, because me. But also we're also branching out to parents and children because you do have that like a step up from those easy matching games. We can teach them a little bit more sophisticated strategy along with matching. It's a blue one, matches with a blue one. Okay, I'm a kid, I get that.
What's the humor level of the game? Is it, obviously like Exploding Kittens and Cartoons Humanity?
It's PG.
Okay.
So it's that's why I say apples to apples instead of Cards Against Humanity. You can actually bring your grandma in the room when you're playing it. There might be a tongue-in-cheek innuendo here or there, but the kids won't get it. A lot of the jokes on marriage are not exactly positive. There's like a wife pulling the husband to the wedding ceremony. But again, mostly tongue-in-cheek stuff, all PC. Because if you're 8-year-olds playing it, you don't want to have to like turn red in embarrassment. That would be bad. More questions? I got like 2 more minutes worth of questions.
Anything else? No?
I saw someone scratching their face.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Michael. I'm going to do a couple.
Yep, sure.
So I want to thank some more sponsors. Patriot Voice Radio, Randy has been here since day one, and we appreciate everything he's doing. Be careful, he will zoom in on your nose hairs with that camera. So he's part of the putting this video package together that we put on YouTube, or put on our website, which is a YouTube video, which is part of the service that we offer these guys for presenting. And Grand Traverse Business Design is part of that also. And also, we want to thank Echo again. Just remember, Maddie, if you could stand up for a second back there. On your way out, tell her how much you love the facility and you want it to keep coming back. I'm working it. And then this is the point where we have, if anyone's got an announcement, a job opening, maybe another meetup they want to advertise, something like that. Go ahead. You got some?
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthi Chandra. I'm with Open Logics Corporation, and I'm really excited to be in Traverse City. Russell's been hearing me obsessing about how excited I am to be here. And one of the main things that we focus on is mobile application and web application development, along with IBM products and staffing. But I focus on mobile products because, well, they're a little more interesting to work with, and the clients we have are always really interesting as well. Some of the people we work with include DTE as well as Honda, so if there's a project you want to work on, I am the person to holla at.
And Open Logics has agreed to be a sponsor of the happy hour sometime in the future, so
absolutely,
we'll be talking. And then, go ahead, Joey.
I'll say, Joey DeFranco, Grand Traverse Business Design, our team up here, but we are looking for a digital content designer to join our web marketing team. So if you have that skill set or know someone who does, come see me afterwards, give me my card.
Any other announcements? Go ahead back there. Very good. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, my name is Adam Draghi. I'm a mechanical engineer, designer, freelance contract type work. I work with a lot of small startups, kind of fill me out and people have resources or need full-time persons. If anyone out there's got a product they're developing or any kind of need, please come see me.
Okay, we'll do some more announcements later, but right now I want Mike to talk about, we're going to start another group of civic hacking and tech for good.
Right. Hi there. My name is Mike Naughton. I'm an attorney in town. And something that TC New Tech has been talking about and is now starting is a little bit more civic engagement. And with that, we're trying to put together a team of civic hackers. In fact, gentlemen in the back, welcome. You might be someone too that might be interested in what we want to do. Traverse City is kind of a sandbox, and we want to do something different and something new. And we want to use the resources in this room to do that. Civic hacking is pretty undefined, but it's something that's being backed up by companies like Google, Amazon, as well as the White House. And so I'm trying to spearhead this, and I would love it. Everyone and anyone that's interested, let's talk and try and put something together.
All right. Without, I don't want to say it, but the next one up is Blake, and he has got something called Brokerage Books.
Oh, you need sorry.
So, yeah, after he's done, you're going to come back here. Sure. Jonathan, right?
Yes.
He's going to wait.
All right. This is what I love about TC New Tech or any group like this. This is far from a card game, but we're going to get into it. So, yes, thank you. I appreciate the confidence. So my name is Blake, Home Waters Recreational Real Estate. We're about a block and a half from here, our main office. And we saw a need and kind of put this together, and I'll take you through. So, oops, down to this. Okay, so the challenge we saw, Home Waters, 10 years in business. We have 15 agents across northern Michigan. We cover a really big geographic area. And so we really saw a need for the 3 lines there at the bottom. Gaining timely information on transactions. Hopefully I don't offend anybody, but realtors tend to be procrastinators somewhat in nature. So getting information on transactions and well ahead of the closing time has been a struggle for us. So having it as it is a manual process also. So we enter information into the MLS system. That information is stored there, but then as a company, we were using spreadsheets, basically manually entering the information into those to track the transactions. And the tools available for to manage some of these things are very expensive, and they're single purpose. So you're an agent, and you've got 5, 6, 10 tools spread across a lot of different ways where you're, again, and so we developed Brokerage Books, and we're building it as an internal product. Basically, again, 3 things to cover here. It's an automatic accounting and budgeting tool. So what it does is you enter information into the MLS system, and it's an automatic feed into your Brokerage Books account to be able to manage this and manage it as a brokerage. So here we are, February 2nd, and to understand the marketing budget we have as a company for August and September into the busy months, it's hard to understand what money could be available at that point. A simplistic and attractive showing software, I'll talk about this a little bit in a minute, but this is where we really think we can jump into the market. And an integrated customer and transaction management system. This piece is, I think, the most exciting for me because it would take me step by step through each and every transaction that we have, and also increase the amount of communication we're having with our clients. A screenshot of the dashboard is what I have here. So if you take me to the yellow diagram, would be the active listings for this particular user, pending listings in the green, and sold properties for the year to date in the red. And then you'll see at the top line in the active in yellow there, I've got my active, or this agent's active inventory, the estimated commission that that agent would earn with those. I should say there's actually an algorithm plugged in based on previous year sales to calculate that number, and then company contribution again also calculated in. This would have the search in the top lines there. So 6 MLSs are feeding information automatically into it. So if I'm a listing agent on a property, it's going to be automatic. If I'm a buyer's agent on a property, I'm going to have to go in and find that property and tell the system that I've sold that particular property. So here's where you'll see that predictive budgeting really coming into play. This is a screenshot of an actual specific listing, and this is the showing software we can actually go into and schedule showings. This has contact management, so we can manage clients and other agents and lenders and whomever we'd like to manage here. Gain feedback from listings as well, and that's a huge piece. And this is that transaction management system, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to use the word Skittles legally, but you can see the little colored buttons to the right in the center of the screen, kind of. T for title insurance, M for MLS, R for realtor. So these buttons are kind of a different stage buttons, so that as you go along in the transaction, you can keep track of things, and actually the system will prompt you when you click on title insurance. Do you want to contact the seller, the buyer, the other agent in the transaction? All those different people can be involved all through this tool. So where's the moolah? The most important question, right? So we have competition. There's competition as basic as Excel. There's competition that is doing some things similar to this, but again, very complex and quite expensive as well. Showing software is a thing. There's 2.5 million realtors in the country, and about half of those, a little bit more than half of those, are using a showing software currently. We think we can match or get close to that cost, transfer it into this product, and offer a lot more. So what gives? My grandfather used to say that, and I love it. What gives? Brokerage Books need some technical guidance. So we've built a product that you've seen today. What we need, and I was hoping to gain today, if you are an entrepreneur in any field and you've worked with a software developer or a web developer that you've had a great experience with, tell me about it over a beer. If you are a developer that has the know-how and can work with us, we'd love to have that conversation. And involvement in general, we're building it out for ourselves. And you know, I think through some additional communication and bringing other people into the conversation when using the product, we'll really see some increased use. So thanks for the time. Questions on? Pardon? Yeah, so we're using it internally. Yeah, we're still building it internally, I should say, but using it as a company, and we think that it has some great viability in the marketplace. Yes. Correct. Yes.
Was an architect and it's a multi-tier app, so you can do that, expose, interface it, or was it?
It wasn't built by anybody that works for us, if that answers the question. So it was built by an outside company. Is that the question? I'm sorry. Yeah, see, that's, I mean, the technical stuff is out of my league, honestly. That's where we need a lot of guidance, guys. So appreciate it.
Did I see something about a subscription base?
In terms of, are we using a subscription base? Yeah, it would be subscription based. So again, the showing software is a piece that a lot of realtors and brokers use now, and so where we think it would really grow is again bringing other agents and industry people into the communication tool. They would manually sign up.
What's your level?
Pardon?
What is your level of competition for price?
Yeah, right now the showing softwares are right in that $10 to $20 a month per user, depending on, you know, do you have 500 people you're signing up or do you have 5? And so we can compete. We think we can compete really closely with that. Yeah, but with a lot more options. Yep.
So in order to make this happen, do you have to pay another arm and leg to the MLS, or is there access to all the MLS data already included in whatever a member broker is paying?
Yeah. Great question. There's no real money, at least what we've set up to this point. You just have to get approval. So approval for information from the MLS.
From the MLS.
Yeah. Correct. We're pretty young in that part of the conversation, so it could certainly change. But we'd like to be competitive again with the showing software and offer a lot more.
Okay.
Looks good. Thanks, everybody.
All right, Blake, thank you for that presentation. Couple of, I want to thank some sponsors again. First of all, I also noticed that we have 7 viewers on our live broadcast. So, hello. So, yeah, thank you for doing that, by the way. So I'm sure they were going to be here, but the snow kept them from coming back. Yeah. So, a sponsor I want to thank is Grand Traverse Business Design. Ryan, you've been a great help on helping with the website and everything like that, but Joey has been a godsend. So, not taking anything away from you. So, Joey right here has been there really since even before I thought of it.
Yeah.
So, he
Born out of Geek Breakfast.
He was like the first guy I mentioned it to. I'm like, hey, what do you think about doing this? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So thank you, Joey. And then Access Point, Lisa was like the second person that I mentioned it to, and she's been heavily involved in. She does human resource stuff, and you guys should talk to her. So if you're a young startup, you're gonna need human resources. Trust me, I've owned a lot of companies. You don't want to do it yourself. So
Unless you use TrueJob, right?
Unless you, well, that's just the hiring part.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
talking about insurance. It's
Payroll.
Payroll. Yeah, right.
Handbooks.
Yeah, so talk to Lisa back there. She can
She
help
knows
you out.
everything.
So, next one up is Yael Boloker
Yes.
from ZeekBeek, who is the sponsor. So make sure you give her a big
Yeah.
round of applause.
Good evening. My name is Yael Boloker, and I'm from ZeekBeek. ZeekBeek is a market network, and it's for lawyers and for those looking for lawyers. I'm here presenting tonight because we just opened our first office here in Traverse City last month, and we're really happy to be part of the local tech community. So,
Pointer right ahead. Okay, hang on a second.
We gotta check the new projector.
Just got it today.
do you want me to manually do it?
Yeah, I'll just
Okay, I'll just
tell me when you're next slide.
Okay, so next slide. All right. So how are we different than the hundreds of other legal sites that are out there? For consumers, we're transparent, and we also give them enough information to make smart decisions. And we show them how lawyers are different from one another and what unique and specialized skills each different lawyer has. Now, for lawyers, we follow the ethical rules. And more importantly, we created profiles that are tailored specifically for lawyers to showcase their wide array of skills. Next slide, please. So what's different about us is the most important difference really is the State Bar of Michigan and other bars. We've been working in Michigan for about a year. It's our test state. And what we've come to discover is that it's been really, really successful. And what we plan to do is become a national bar directory. Now, over the next 3 months, we plan to expand into the State Bar of Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana. Next slide, please. Now, here's an example of our search page. Each lawyer has a business card with a snapshot of all their relevant information. So you're going to see their license information, their practice areas, some contact information, and their location. Now, to learn more, all you have to do is click on their name. Can you click? Oh. All right. So this is an example of Dan Digman. He's a local attorney here in Traverse City. On his profile, you can see detailed information about his practice. So right now, what you can see on the bottom is his biography. Next slide. And here you can see more information like his practice areas, his employment history, his education, and some of the bars he's a member of. Next slide, please. And then even more information about his mediation experience, his courts that he practices in, and other experiences that he has, like working with Father Fred. Now you can see right here the courts practice and mediation. That's something really special to our site. Other networking sites don't have this kind of specific lawyer information. Next slide, please. Okay. So this is an example of our lawyer-to-lawyer referral directory. Now we have more. This is in addition to our regular market network. It's more than just for consumers to find lawyers. This is for lawyers to find lawyers. Now, any healthy legal practice is going to have referrals embedded in their business plan. Now, because referrals are so integral to an attorney's health of their practice, we decided to create an online way for them to look for their peers that specialize in particular niches. Next slide, please. So now, unlike most of our competitors, we're inclusive to the entire legal community, including law students. Through a partnership with MSU College of Law, we created a law student directory. So here's the opening of our law student directory. The platform gives students the ability to connect with other law students, as well as gain experience and insight from the greater legal community. So right now, we started with MSU College of Law, but we've actually expanded to other schools, including U of M, Wayne State, and Cooley. Next slide, please. Here's an example of one of our young students. Her name is Greta. She's actually on the cutting edge of fashion law and has a widespread audience for her blog, fashiondocket.com. Now, in order for her to utilize her profile properly, she got on, she put in a bunch of her information, her employment history, and not just that, but the practice areas that she wants to be in. She added fashion law to our site. It was her idea, and she's gained traction from other people in it. Now, having her profile here connects her to all the attorneys across the US, including New York, where she hopes to work for a fashion house. Next slide, please. ZeekBeek strives to celebrate the roots of the legal world, and ZeekBeek strives to celebrate the roots of the legal world, which has developed over the last century. However, using technology, we plan to move it into the 21st century. We have workers in Chicago, Manhattan, and Traverse City, but we're really proud to call Traverse City our home base. So thank you very much. I did. I moved to Traverse City. I'm from Boston. I just moved here. The driving's a little much, guys. 200, I think. Yeah, 200, about 200. They have profiles. We're building more and more features for law students, like a bulletin board where they can put things that are, they're working on right then. So if you just want a competition, you can swing it on your bulletin board. If you're writing an article for law review, put it on your bulletin board. And it's really a way for lawyers to go into the directory and find students to help them with work that they have too much of, doc review, internships, employment, that kind of thing. So we do have a legal professional directory. So people like legal nurses or people with JDs that don't, haven't gotten their license, they're just called legal professionals, but they can apply for jobs that are on our jobs board as well, or they can just network with everybody else. They can network with lawyers, they can network with law students. Sort of. It's really a network. So a market network really is a network like Facebook, LinkedIn, but it's also a market in which services are being provided. So for consumers, it's legal services, and for lawyers, it's other lawyer services, whether that be referrals or profile building or law firm building or anything like that.
So if I'm looking for an attorney, just Joe citizen, do you charge me?
Nope, you don't charge you, and we actually don't charge the lawyers for their base profile. It's a perk that they get as being part of the State Bar of Michigan. So we have every single lawyer in Michigan on our site. What? How do you make money? Oh, how do we make money? So did you see the lawyer referral directory? That's one of our products. We have a couple of products right now that are, facing the lawyers right now. But also the other thing that you may not know if you're not lawyers or not familiar with lawyers is that there are mandatory bars and voluntary bars. So Michigan happens to be a mandatory bar. So everyone in the bar gets this, for free, basically. For states that have voluntary bars, like New York, where I'm a member of the bar, not everybody who's a member of the bar is going to get the ability to be part of ZeekBeek. So if they want to be part of it, they either have to join the bar or pay to be as part of our service. That's a question over here?
Yeah, I was curious. You said that some of the information about the lawyers, like the mediation stuff, was something that other sites didn't have. I'm just curious, how do you guys have it?
Oh, well, I'm a lawyer, so I know exactly what other lawyers need, what I have, what kind of experiences that I have. And it's not just me. We have a group of lawyers that actually are in all kinds of law, big law. They've been in big law, they've been in corporations, banks. I worked in the government, I worked in nonprofits. So it's just like a combined effort of all these people and all their knowledge. And what they would really like to put on their profile is really how we build stuff. And if anybody has a suggestion of fields that we don't have, we always encourage the members to tell us, and we'll create it for them. So personally, I've been doing this for 3 years since its inception, but we only really kicked off in Michigan last year around this time.
Where do you rank it in Google search?
That's a good question. So it depends who you're Googling, right? So if you Google a newer lawyer, someone who doesn't have vast experience, then will probably be, their first or second. But if you do someone who's been practicing for 20 years, we might even be on the second page. It really depends. That's one of the things that we're working towards is raising our ranking.
So are you primarily focused on B2B or B2C? It sounds like a revenue model.
We're actually, so what happened is we started with B2B because you've got to stock the shelves, right? So that's where a lot of our development has been, but we're really starting a push from B2C, and we actually have a consumer rollout in the next 2 weeks.
Plans for like a social component where you would get feedback on
Yes, we do have reviews and endorsements on the site, so you can write in. Our review process actually is pretty stringent. So when you write something, the lawyer who was your lawyer, gets a notification and says, "Hey, was this your client?" And if they say, "Yeah, this is my client," then it goes up, but they don't get to see the review first. So that's our process. It's pretty tough, but it's better than Yelp because lawyers really are nervous about that and have been slammed for no reason on Yelp when it wasn't even their client. Okay, I think my time is up. But if you have any more questions, talk to me, talk to Kim, talk to Sarah.
Well, thank you. That was Mike, are you on ZeekBeek? I am. You should have pulled up Mike's profile.
Why don't we talk about that?
You have seen.
We'll advertise it for Mike.
No logo, no ZeekBeek.
Give no respect.
How about I'll just give you a free profile bill?
Thank you.
Dingman's not
Making deals.
at least Mike or Enrico. All right, so a couple more sponsors we want to thank. Well, one of them obviously is ZeekBeek. Appreciate them, and you're hosting the happy hour. We tried to make sure it's just one drink ticket per person. If it's more than that, blame Lisa. And then the other sponsor, again, is Sample Serve. If anybody has environmental problems, go see me. So,
are you down in Flint at all?
We do a bunch of work in Flint. I had nothing to do with that. So.
I got you a camera here, dude.
As a matter of fact, had we been involved, it wouldn't have been a problem.
It wouldn't have happened.
Right. So, any more announcements? Any job openings, that kind of thing? Anybody got something you want to talk about? Nothing? Anybody? Look, right here.
My name is Walt Mullenhagen. This is the first time I've been here, but I work for the Small Business Development Center. I'm a certified small business consultant. So any of you who are starting your business, who are in business and want to grow your business, we have consultants all over the state. We cover all 83 counties in the state. We'd be happy to work with you.
We actually have someone from the SBA and SBDC speaking next month, as a matter of fact.
Good.
So, all right. So everyone's probably had to play with Excel once in a while, right? And playing with data. It's data management. You always start with Excel, and then you work your way up to doing things like TrueJob or ZeekBeek. It's all data. Sample Serve, same thing. But if you're really good, you can avoid a lot of this programming stuff if you know how to use pivot tables. So Greg Horan with Dennis Garland and Nearguard, we should actually make you a sponsor too, because Greg's been very helpful with this whole putting together TC New Tech. So we'll have to get the logo up there and throw it up on the screen. And he's going to show you some quick tips on how to do pivot tables.
Pivot tables in 5 minutes.
That's a free class.
And for dummies.
I have an example of a data dump. Most software today.
Sorry, folks.
Most software today can dump data out to Excel. There's a variety of ways, and I won't get involved in that. This was a direct data pull, an example. So you see this I dumped some invoice history data. Now picture if I had rows and rows. Some of the clients I deal with have hundreds of thousands of rows. And so I've got data here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you how to do a pivot table, and then I'm going to explain ones that I've already created. The first step is go up to Insert Pivot Table, and I cheated, and I made it a name range for that sheet of data. And then I say, well, gee, I want to group it by customer, and I'd like to know what the sales are for that customer. That's very basic, right? Now think about, I started out in this business as a programmer. And so we'd have to write programs to do that for a customer. And then the user would come along and say, hey, would you show that to me by item? Sure. So now I can drag it down to here. And he said, well, yeah, you said by item, but I want it by item, then customer. So no problem. I just drag it down, and then it retells it for me. So that's very quickly what it's meant for. So you take a huge amount of data and subset, okay? But then, you know, the big buzzword today is dashboards, right? Everybody wants to create dashboards. So I've got the same data, but maybe I have different measurements. Maybe I want to look at gross margin. Maybe I want to look at the data by customer, by product line. There's a whole lot of groupings. I'm going to show you another table here that I pre-set up. And this is called my top 5 selling items, right? So I might sell 100 items, but I only care about a top group of them. So what I've done here is, you notice how it automatically lets me do filtering. And there's actually a built-in filter in Excel that says top 10. And that's kind of a misleader. It's actually whatever you want it to be. So when I click top 10, it says top, what do I want? I want the top 5. Very simple. And if I had different data fields, here I just did total sales, but if I did total cost, I could say the top 5 by gross margin, by whatever my default is. And just that quickly, you did it. So not a lot of programming. You don't have to know a lot. And the nice thing with it is, especially small businesses, right? You already invested in your accounting software, your inventory systems, so you have all this data. But one of the biggest challenges that we have today is, how do I see it? How do I report on it? Also, you want your data to be very dynamic, right? So that I can say, well, that's great, but what is it for this data? What is it for this customer? Show you a couple more really quick ones. Over here under margin analysis, this is one where I threw in a gross margin analysis. Now, if you'll notice, gross margin wasn't part of my fields, and so I actually created that. And it was a calculated field. It's basic Excel, right? So gross margin is my sale amount minus my cost. That gives me my gross margin. So you can do calculated fields as well. So you can also end up with a dashboard. The nice thing with it is I can do what's called a pivot chart. So I take that data and I can build a chart over the top of it. And now I can very easily put what they call data slicers on it and say, show me names. Notice how all 4 charts change. So it's kind of like a quick and easy dashboard. And then I can say, well, take off my by date. And I now want to see it by something else. And so there's my product line. So that's kind of a quick overview of, you can take your data, summarize it, do the charts, and do data slicers. Any questions?
Is this the latest version of Excel?
This is not the latest. I haven't noticed. The latest has in fact, you'll be amazed to find that pivot tables go all the way to Excel. It's not a function. It's just a function.
As much as I love Excel, I have to use Google sheets because I'm sharing the data that I'm analyzing. Do you know if there's any way to get pivot table functions in the sheets?
Do you give private lessons?
Yes, it's something that I do. It's one of the things that I work with my clients on. I install accounting software, and that's becoming a very big metric, especially the dashboard.
You should develop your own YouTube channel. Show the results.
Any other questions? Oh, up here in the front, sir.
I'm just wondering, is there some point where there's so many rows that Excel starts to get bogged down? You run into that at all?
I haven't, except for when you get up probably, up over 500,000 rows type thing. But part of it is based on your processor and the resources you have on it. Like if you're like me, I'm guilty. I have like probably 10 programs open. Yes.
The size of your data table changes.
Yep. So in that example, I actually gave that data range a name called detail. So what happens is when I refresh my data, it will refresh the charts, and you can actually set it to when you open the workbook to refresh everything. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Just when you start to feel smart, great guys like Greg come along.
And if anybody would like a copy of the spreadsheet that I showed tonight, just give me your business card. I'd be happy to email it to you.
Thank you. Any final announcements? Anybody think of something? No? Okay. I got
actually.
Oh, go ahead.
So we're from Ann Arbor, and we also do the Ann Arbor Brew Tech meetup. So if you can make it down by tomorrow and you want to drive 4.5 hours, we'll be at Mezzavino. So just figured I'd mention that. So.
All right. Go ahead.
Our tech company turned 20 years old.
All right. What's your...
First company, we got 20 years old.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. You did. And I go down, that's actually how I know this guys. I go down to the A2 New Tech meetup. It's actually down Coastal. It's a lot of fun. They get about twice as many people as we have, which, considering the size of the towns, I think is pretty impressive for Traverse City. And I've been going down there for like 2 years, and Scott's been real good. He's done a few presentations. So it's glad to have you guys start coming up here. So the fiber committee, I just want to remind you, if you're, go ahead. Yeah. Pardon me? Other than, they're starting to come up here, and I still go down there, Yeah. Pardon me? Hopefully we can start doing some more collaborative stuff, and it may happen, For the A2 New Tech? Yeah. No, I just basically copied them. That's exactly what I'm not trying to hide it. You can tell I copied them by the name. By the name. I asked them if that's okay. They're like, heck yeah. So.
You just commit a violation of.
Anyway, you can tell by the name. You can tell by the name I copied them. So.
Okay, Joey, edit that part out.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to remind you of the fiber subcommittee meeting, 5 o'clock, February 8th, at the Arrow Park campus. Look on the website. It's also on the Facebook page. So if you can't find it, you should upgrade your
exactly
technology.
that all about, Russell?
It's about learning. We want to kind of help educate ourselves about high-speed fiber in Traverse City, and maybe guide it in directions that they're not going, or vice versa. Go ahead, Chris. You got
a lot of big players coming upcoming meeting, the charter without other providers.
Right.
Ask for the state reps for actually being here to make this proper.
It's a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal for Traverse City, and there's going to be big players, TCLP, Charter, AT&T. They're all going to be in that meeting. Yeah. So, and it's just the first of many meetings. As a matter of fact, the Traverse City Light and Power, and we're going to be making some announcements. They have monthly meetings, and we want to pack the room next time. Ben, who's not here, he had another obligation. He's actually heading up the fiber committee. But Ben and I were there last month, and it was, we were just one of 2 or 4 people in the meeting. And so I think if we can pack the meeting, we can send a signal to Traverse City that, hey, we want this to happen. So anyway, also the civic hacking thing, if anyone wants to get involved in the civic hacking, I'm sure Mike's going to be here for a little bit, hanging out, so talk to Mike. And then the next meeting is March 1st, Tuesday, March 1st. Go ahead. Oh, that's it. That's all I had.
I'd just like to do a shout out. I didn't get a chance to meet you when you came in. I actually meet, and I'm with your Traverse City Area Chamber of Commerce. And if you don't know the work that we do, or if you'd like to learn more, I can give you my contact. I have my cards out there, or you can jump on our website, tcchamber.org. I guess just to kind of summarize what we do, we're really passionate about this Traverse City area and the 5 counties that we serve. We feel that we are an impact player, and we love to advocate for business. And we have an economic development department with Venture North that you can access. So it's our access to capital company within your chamber. We also do strong government relations in your community, and we are the godmother of networking, we believe. So, there's lots of places to plug in. We've got a strong YP organization for young professionals under 40. So I got to go into the room for one of the meetings. It was really fun to go to the room that started with the word young. But it's strong, and if you have YPs in your organization, jump on board. Glad you're here.
Thank you. And then, did you have something?
Oh, I was wondering that fiber optic just within the city limit or surrounding.
Whatever Traverse City Light and Power Services right now, I think they're outside the city limits too. So, but it doesn't have to necessarily be limited to that either. So, so after the meeting, one of the things that we talked about with Maddie is that we would help put all these chairs back the way we found them. So, have a beer first, and then maybe come back in here and help me deal with some of these chairs. So, other than that, the happy hour.
You don't have to do it. We're going to do it for
Okay.
you. Thanks for your time.
The social hour sponsored by ZeekBeek starts right now.
Very good.